Hi there, I'm Karen Marie, and this is Psyched Up for Sunday, February 28th, 2021. So I'm going to look at the transits for this week, and then I'm going to do mini 3 card readings for all signs. So this is, as I'm recording this, the sun is at 10 degrees of Pisces. So it's 1/3 of the way through the Pisces transit. So I really want to talk a lot about this Pisces energy or just the energies behind the signs that the major planets are in. So Pisces is the 12th sign of the zodiac. So it represents the 12th house in an astrology chart. So the 12th house is deep karma. It's what we've brought with us from past lives. It's also deeply spiritual. It's the unconscious. It's the subconscious. It's the psychic. So as the sun transits through this sign, we can often have our karma coming up. So what is karma? Karma is the collection of the causes that we have set, both positive and negative, throughout this lifetime and all our lifetimes as in our soul's evolution. So most of us don't know what our karma is. We don't have an idea of what we have done in the past. You can look to the circumstances of your life right now as to what your karma is, right? So your environment is a reflection of yourself. So if you don't like what's going on in your life or in your relationships or in your work situation or in your home or the town you live in, it's all a reflection somehow of your karma, right? So we have a collection of both positive and negative causes, and our life experience is both positive and negative, right? And somewhere in between. So, this week in particular, there's an emphasis on our karmic connection and relationships with others. The mid range of an astrology chart is about our interaction with the world around us, our relationships with other people. The first 9 degrees of a sign is always about our inner life, how we relate to ourselves in each particular sign. And then so this is the week as I see it, and I'll go through the day by day of when we can be tested karmically. And so testing meaning whatever karmic issues you may have, weak spots in terms of negative karma coming up, karmic patterns that you see yourself repeating over and over and over again, the ruts that we fall into, right? We get into this, okay, well, this always happens to me in relationships, or this always happens to me in my job, or this always happens, that kind of thing. That's karma. When you're experiencing something that's going around again and again and again. And every Pisces season is an opportunity to transform our karma, do things differently than we usually do it. Instead of like doing the default into whatever our karmic pattern is, we can choose to do something differently, react differently, set different causes. So that's the opportunity of this week. Pisces, being a spiritual planet, is also the lesson of self love. How can I love myself from a divine source within myself, not the ego love, but a divine spiritual love? Psychically, how can I listen to my intuition and follow its prompting rather than my logical, rational thoughts and reasoning? How can I let myself be guided by my higher self? I believe everyone is psychic. We all have intuition, and that intuitive voice is the connection with our higher self. So this week, actually for the next couple weeks, we have another 20 days, almost 19 days of the sun moving through Pisces. So we have an opportunity here to really work on changing karma. And so how do we do that? We pay attention to the cues and the triggers as they come up in our life. And instead of responding in our default unconscious programming, we can stop and say, okay, this is how I usually, if I'm in this situation, I usually do this, but I'm going to stop and pause, take a deep breath, and choose to have a different reaction, a different tape that I play. Instead of like, this always happens to me, I'm going to stop and say, oh, wait, I'm feeling this karmic pattern about to repeat itself. I'm going to choose to do something differently. I'm going to choose to believe that this old karmic pattern, the rut that I fall into, is an old story. And I'm now creating a new story, right? And so, and it's a test, it's a karmic test. If you pass the test, it's a pass fail. You pass the test, then you get to move on and create new causes. If you don't pass the test, if you go back into your karmic pattern and repeat the same thing again, chances are you'll be repeating that karma and having that karma show up for the next year until we get into Pisces again, where you have the opportunity to transform it. So not only do we have the sun in Pisces, and also I'll say another thing about it being at 10 degrees. So anything that's a one in the astrological numbering is about love, self-love, and zeros are about holding space for. So I hold space for love, is basically what I see the 10 as. And I get the numbers. I've been taught by Christopher Witecki, meaning I've studied his various tapes and subscribed to his astrology service, which is seriousjoy.com, which I highly recommend for anybody wanting to delve deeper into astrology. And he has downloaded, psychically channeled this system of connecting the numbers in astrology, the degrees something is in a particular sign, and it's just right on as far as I've seen it. So I've learned from him how to interpret the numbers behind the astrology. So, and I'll put the link to his, the seriousjoy.com in the video below. And you can find him on YouTube, Christopher Witecki. The YouTube platform is Soul Garden TV. So you can look for his videos. He puts a video out once a week where he talks about the upcoming week as well. And in the Serious Joy service, he gives text throughout the day about what's going on. He gives the daily overview. He gives the weekly overview. He gives a monthly overview. He goes diving deeper into astrology. So I just highly recommend him for anybody who wants to like delve deeper into the astrology. But anyway, so there's the plug for Christopher Witecki. So we have 3 planets in Pisces. We have Neptune, which has been there for a while, and it's at 20 degrees. So 2 in the astrology is about I feel. And the 0, once again, is holding space for, setting up boundaries around. So it's about feeling and needing to create space so that you can feel. And what are you feeling? Pisces, Neptune and Pisces is feeling out things spiritually, feeling out things psychically. So the psychic radar, Neptune is the psychic radar planet, and it's in one of the most psychic signs and most spiritual signs. So this is a wonderful time to get downloads, clear downloads about spiritual direction, about psychic direction, about what is your, this is one of the easiest times of year to connect with your intuition and have it come through clearly. Dreams can be super vivid with this Piscean energy, right? We've just had Mercury move into Pisces. No, not Mercury, Venus has moved into Pisces, and it's at 4 degrees of Pisces right now. And so 4 is a breakdown, breakthrough energy. So right now with Venus in Pisces, it can be breaking down, breaking through relationships. Venus represents relationship. It's who we love, what we love, how we receive energy. So there can be something that has come through today, tomorrow, that's like almost disconcerting, like, or it can be an aha realization psychically. So with the sun moving there, Neptune in Pisces, Venus in Pisces, there's all this Piscean energy. And happy birthday, Pisces, by the way. This is your time of the year as well. So wonderful opportunity to feel things out psychically, to clear up old karma, karmic patterns, to make different choices when it comes to relationships with Venus in Pisces. Like, how do I respond to my relationship karma differently? This is relationship to all things, your relationship with yourself, your relationship to the things you love, the people you love. And I think it's a wonderful time to transform karmic patterns in relationships right now with Venus and Neptune and the sun all in Pisces. Okay, so that's the Pisces energy that's going on right now. Also of note, we have 2 planets and an asteroid in Taurus. Uranus, which has been there a couple years, Uranus right now is at 7 degrees. So Uranus is a spiritual planet. It's the maverick. It rules Aquarius. It's sudden unexpected things. It is spiritual awakenings. It's the great awakener. And so it's been moving through Taurus energy. And also Black Lilith is in Taurus right now, and she's at 14 degrees of Taurus. And then we have Mars right now at 28 degrees. So it's moving, it's wrapping up its transit in Taurus. In fact, it will, Monday and Tuesday is going to be 29 degrees. And then Wednesday, Mars moves into Gemini. Okay, so what's the Taurus energy around? Taurus is an earth sign. It rules the 2nd house in astrology. It's our clothing, it's our food, it's how we sustain ourselves, it's our money, how we make our money, it's how we value ourselves and our valuables, right? So Uranus there can be shaking up and have money issues for everyone, but particularly wherever Taurus shows up in your chart, you can find this great awakening energy showing up in your chart. For example, if you have Taurus in the 8th house, you can be waking up. It's this house that usually rules Scorpio, which is death and transformation. It's the house of the channel. So you can have sudden, unexpected channeled energy coming through, for example. That's, and Black Lilith represents an asteroid that represents our deep karmic fears. And what's fears? False evidence appearing real, right? It's not necessarily the things that are gonna happen. It's where we have fears that things are going to be happening. And especially in Taurus, it's fears that I'm not going to have enough money. I'm not going to have enough food. Fears that I'm not going to be valued by other people. I'm not valuable. These are examples of fears that can come up as a result of Black Lilith being in Taurus. And then Mars represents our ego and how we put energy into things, how we take action, right? So Mars in Taurus is getting things done, but it's also how do we move towards manifesting. It would be one of the things. So this, Mars usually takes about 6 weeks to transit a sign. Mars took 6 months to transit Aries. It went up into Aries and then it did a retrograde thing and then went back up. And when Mars was at 29 degrees, the last degree of Aries is when the January 6th raid on the Capitol happened. So Mars is the god of war as well. So it can be stirring up people to go to war, to fight action, to be angry, right? In Taurus, it's a lot more chill than it is in Aries, but still it's going to be wrapping up its transit. And so you can find some bullheadedness with people out in the world over the next couple days. You can have some crises come up around money or financial things or food stuff or how you're going to feed yourself or how I'm going to, job security issues could come up with the combination of Uranus and Black Lilith being there and then Mars being in the last degrees of Taurus. So when Mars goes into Gemini on Wednesday, it starts a whole new transit, a whole new teaching scheme, a whole new modality going on with Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury, and it's an air sign. And Gemini is the twins, the duplicity, the Jekyll Hyde energy. So Mars going into Gemini will also speed. It's a faster moving energy. Taurus is more of a plodding, moving forward slowly. So the pace may pick up in terms of how you're putting energy into things. And right now, all planets are direct as of Mercury going in direct last weekend. It will still be until March 14th until Mercury makes it out of its shadow period. So you may still be having some fuzzy thinking and remnants remnants of Mercury being retrograde still going on in your life. But Mars going into Gemini is very much a mercurial feeling as well, since Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So Mercury rules our communication, our transportation, our technology, short-term travel, the media. So with Mars going into Gemini, there's a heightened emphasis on communication. And again, with the twins, the duplicity of two different conversations, it can be faster talking, but it can be people talking out of two sides of their head, or difficulties in communication. Some of these same sort of Mercury retrograde energies can show up when any planets are in Gemini. And we have the North Node in Gemini. It's at 15 degrees, and the North and the South nodes are points in the sky. So, but it's where our collective focus is as everyone on the planet. So we've been dealing with this Gemini energy for a while now. It takes about a year and a half for the nodes to transit a sign, and they're always moving counterclockwise. So they're moving backwards. So Mars moving into Gemini, the North Node in Gemini will feel like a greater emphasis on the technology energies, communication, media, having dual energy show up. I want this, no, I want that. News sources that are showing two different stories, two different sides of a story, conflicting reports. Crises can go on in your relationships when you've got all this mercurial energy right in Gemini. So it can also be a time of great creativity, innovative thinking, taking action towards things. But if you've been wanting to take action, say towards putting more energy into a social media platform or a website or something like that, that's ruled by this Mercury, with Mars moving into Gemini, this may be the time to really be able to get stuff done and get things moving, and find that you have greater traction in these areas. The South Node is always the opposite across the skies from wherever the North Node is. And the South Node represents our collective past life karma. It's where we're releasing energy, where we're clearing out things. So North Node in Gemini is a lot about our thinking, our thoughts, right? It's because it rules the head. South Node is in Sag at 15 degrees, and that's more about our belief systems, how we're clearing out old karma, old beliefs. So there's this energy, heightened energy with the mind and thinking and what we believe and what we're letting go. Beliefs we're letting go of. Oh, well, I used to believe this. Now I'm letting go of this. And this week we'll have the sun squaring the nodes, which really adds an extra charged emphasis on this energy. And that will be on Friday, the 5th. We'll have the sun squaring the nodes. So, lots of this focus, and there could be a square off that shows up in the media. It can be negative things brought to light that someone's lied about. That can be revealed this week with the nodes. Communication, a square is kind of like two cars coming to an intersection at the same time, and they both want to go. So with the sun exactly at 15 degrees on Friday between the nodes, you can feel pulled between what you think and what you feel or what you believe. So that's just sort of that energy, or again, that can be major headlines showing up in the news media that affect everyone on the planet. It can be like karmic situation. And again, this is the backdrop of being in Pisces. This is karma. So it's like planetary karma can really come up this week with the squaring off of the nodes, because the nodes affect everyone on the planet. Okay. We also have 3 planets still in Aquarius. And we have an asteroid there too. Pallas Athena is also there. And we have Jupiter right now. Jupiter's at 16 degrees of Aquarius, which makes to a 7, which is a super spiritual energy. And then we have Mercury traipsing, right, it's at 14 degrees, but it's on the move this week. It will even actually conjunct Jupiter on Thursday, the 4th. So, so what's that? Mercury, again, our planet of communication, and Jupiter is our belief systems, and Jupiter expands things, and it can be a kiss and a gift. So with Mercury conjuncting Jupiter, There can be expansion in communication. It can be a gift in communication. It can be having great breakthrough when it comes to communication. Maybe this is a great day if you're going to have a talk with your partner. This might be a really good day to do it. This is the same day that Mars goes into Gemini. So there's definitely this focus on communication as Mars moves into Gemini on Thursday, and Mercury is conjunct Jupiter. Jupiter expanding, Mercury, the planet of communication, our thoughts. You might also feel that your thoughts are racing at this time. Because again, Gemini is a quicker energy with Mars moving into like from the plotting, slowly moving Taurus. Mars in Taurus is more cautious, more careful. It's building slowly, and then it gets into Gemini, the air sign. It's kind of like woo, slippery, and it's a totally different energy. You're probably really going to feel this shift on Thursday. So Saturn is also in Aquarius at 8 degrees right now. So it's squaring Uranus. It did that exactly. Again, we have this backdrop of Saturn squaring Uranus all year long. And so it came to a head here in town. It was on the 17th, last Wednesday, or a week ago Wednesday. And that's when here in Austin, we had this crazy weather, Uranus and Taurus ruling sudden unexpected weather events, among other things, and Saturn, restriction, constriction, how we form things, how we're, it's the boundaries and the laws. And so Saturn can be like, oh, stay put. And so this sudden unexpected weather thing had us all sort of having to stay put here in town anyway. I think it showed up in a lot of ways. I think we had severe weather in a lot of places on the planet. So this backdrop of Saturn squaring Uranus they're loosely squared for the rest of the year. They're going to be exactly squared again in June and then again in December. So, but they're going to stay loosely squared, loosely meaning anything within a 7-degree orb is considered a conjunct or an aspect. And then the closer the degrees are, the more you're going to feel whatever that aspect is, whether it's a square or a trine or a conjunction. So Saturn's at 8 degrees, Uranus is at 7 degrees. So they're just 1 degree off. So you're going to still feel this. So it may also bring up, again, Aquarius is ruled by Uranus, which is the maverick. It's wanting to do things differently. It's wanting to do things outside the box. So Saturn in Aquarius, Saturn can be the restricting, let's put boundaries. Let's do it this way. And then, no, we want to do this. We want to create unique patterns. I don't want to follow those rules. I want to do it my own way. That's sort of the energy that can be happening. Also, Aquarius is the 2 wavy lines. It's an air sign, but it's about everybody vibing together. Aquarius represents humanity. And so with Saturn moving through Aquarius, there is the rule maker, the boundary maker wants to do things to help out all people. And I did find it interesting that during this lockdown thing that happened, that everybody was working even more together to help each other out. Power outages and water outages happened here in Austin and all over social media and all over neighborhood platforms. It was like, come over here if you need to charge your phone or you need to get warm, or I have meals. Like there was humanity stepping up to help take care of each other. So that was a benefit that's coming out. And I really feel this like unity energy with the Aquarian planets really being a beautiful thing after the harsh Capricorn energy we had last year, all of 2020. So we still have Pluto in Capricorn. Right now it's at 26 degrees, 1 degree off the United States Pluto. So we're having a Pluto return, and Pluto represents death and transformation, power, control issues, deep dark secrets. And so and Pluto is a very slow moving planet. It will be at the last degrees of Capricorn. It does some retrograde stuff. It won't go into Aquarius until 2024. So for the next several years, we're going to have this theme of transformation of the principles that this country here in America were formed on, right? So, and what was happening at the formation of this country? It was white men ruling things, right? And women and people of color were subservient. So there's this male patriarchal energy that our country was formed in and with Pluto come back around now and all these planets in Aquarius, we are transforming this male patriarchal rule and bringing in the divine feminine. And so that's the shift I'm seeing is the death. Pluto can be death, right? The death of the patriarchal rule and the rebirth of the male and the female being more balanced. And when Pluto moves into Aquarius in 2024, it's going to be the transformation of all humanity. Like everyone matters, not just. So that's what I see as the overall big karmic picture that we're shifting here on this planet over the next few years is the death of the patriarchal, the white male rule, and the birth of every human being matters. We're all the same. We're all equal. We all matter. And so with these outer planets right now in Aquarius, they're already starting this theme. We're already starting to feel a shift in the energies of everyone being important. Jupiter is going to be moving pretty quickly through Aquarius, and it'll beep up into Pisces in May and June, and then it's going to stop and turn around, I believe, in July and come back into Aquarius where it'll stay for the rest of the year. So Jupiter expands this energy of the Aquarian principle. So it will be there, and Saturn's there for another couple of years in Aquarius. So it's going to be helping us restructure, reconfigure our laws, our societies, and even how we restructure our own personal lives. It's still at an 8 degree. Again, anything under 10 degrees is more about your personal, how a planet relates to you personally. So it's the time to revamp, restructure your own personal life. Like, do you need to get your food more in balance, your exercise routine, your spiritual practices? Like, it's all really more about reforming, putting up new boundaries, creating systems that work for you and help you work better. Pluto is also loosely squared Eris. Eris is an asteroid that's in Aries, and it's at 23 degrees. Let me make sure where she is right now. I didn't check that before. Yeah, she's still at 23 degrees. So Eris was Aries' sister, and she is the stand-up for yourself planet. Like, the story behind her is that she was not invited to a wedding, and so then she, was jealous and wreaked havoc. And so she is also an awakener energy and a protest and standing up for rights kind of energy. And so she's been loosely squared with Pluto, which is death and transformation. So this is still in the backdrop as well, this standing up for rights and transformation of what doesn't feel right and the male top-down patriarchal rule. We are really bringing about an end to this. Really, I think 5 years from now, when Pluto is in Aquarius, we're going to be looking at a completely different society than we're looking at today, and that it's just going to feel more unified. That's what I feel like it's positive news that we're getting to that. The moon right now is in the early degrees of Libra, which it will be going through for the next couple days. And so when the moon is in Libra, it's about balancing the scales. It's about justice and fairness. It's about focus on relationships. And so, relationship karma, again, the backdrop of karma coming up, can really be highlighted with the moon in Libra over the next few days. It takes about 2.5 days for the moon to move through a sign. So Monday, it's in Libra. Today, it's in Libra. And also tomorrow, Monday, we'll have Mercury square Black Lilith. Again, Black Lilith is our fears. And in Taurus, it's our deep fears about being valued, our valuables, our finances, our money. And Mercury rules our head, our communication, our thinking. So there can be this fear that comes up. It can be even just with your own thoughts. It can be connected to relationships because the moon is in Libra. Like, oh my God, what's going to happen to us? That kind of a thing can show up. So it can be, fears can really be heightened. Relationship karma can come up. And again, just because something is interaction acting with Black Lilith, which represents our fears, doesn't mean that's going to come to pass. It means your fear of something negative coming to pass. And if you can flip a fear into a space of trust and knowing that you're protected and you're taken care of no matter what, and letting the anxiety and dropping into love for yourself, appreciation for what you do have, gratitude, it can really shift that energy. On Tuesday, we'll have Mars being at the 29 degrees of Taurus point. So it's the culmination, the finalizing of this lesson of, and again, this is like, if the sun's in Pisces trying to teach us spiritual psychic things, and Mars, the ego, is moving through Taurus, plowing its way through. We look at the positive and the negatives of both signs. Taurus is very loyal and patient and hardworking, and but it can be bullheaded and more timid, more slow moving. When Mars gets to the 29-degree part, it can bring things to a head. Like whatever Mars has been helping you work on as it's transiting, Taurus, whatever issues have come up in terms of how you're taking action in the world, if you felt blocked or stuck, feeling like it's taking forever for things to move, that may all come to a head on Tuesday when Mars is in the last degrees of Taurus. I don't think we're going to be having a revisit of what was like January 6th with Mars being 29 degrees of Aries, because Aries is a fire sign and more fiery and anger issues, but it can be stubborn, willful, and again, with the Black Lilith, their fears, heightened fears could come up, about how do I take action on this? You may find, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to do this. And then when the Mars plucks into Gemini, all of a sudden you can get these crazy ideas and you can't even write them down fast enough, is one way that can show up. The moon moves into Scorpio on Tuesday. Scorpio is the deep, dark waters. And both Libra and Scorpio can, when the moon's moving through Libra and Scorpio, it can really bring out relationship issues. Especially Scorpio can bring up hidden things that have been kept secret. Also, the sun is at 13 degrees of Pisces on Wednesday, which makes to a 4, which is the breakdown, breakthrough energy. So it can feel like you can have a breakthrough in understanding, but you can also have a breakdown in communication or a breakdown with yourself. You can have the karmic test could really be happening on Wednesday. Like if you look for the thing that you would normally do that shows up as your karma, and you can do it differently. Like stop, take a breath, put in lots of, if you can start your day in deep meditation and prayer and chanting and whatever you do to connect with spirit on Wednesday morning, I would highly recommend that, so that you can be prepared for whatever goes down on Wednesday, and give yourself lots of love. But you can have psychic downloads come in easy. Again, secrets can be revealed, intuition, like the moon in Scorpio is very intuitive. The sun in Pisces is very intuitive. We've got the Neptune energy bringing in, like it can be super psychic intel coming down. And the main thing is to follow your heart. What feels right in your heart to be doing. Your head may not know how to process what's going on. Also on Wednesday, we have Venus, the planet of relationships, sextiling Uranus. So that's a positive, sextile is a positive relationship. So it can be bringing out some really positive aspects of Venus, but it could be sudden, unexpected, because Uranus is involved. It can be all of a sudden you have a great love come into your life, or you have a realization around love or what you love, who you're passionate about, what you're passionate about. It can be a great reveal when it comes to relationships. Past life connections can come up on this day again, because we've got this Pisces. Like anytime when the sun is transiting Pisces, you can have past life people come into your life. And with Scorpio bringing deep secrets and things from the past up, it can be a very transformative day. You can just find like, oh my God, I lived 3 days in one on Wednesday. Thursday, again, we'll have Mercury conjuncting Jupiter, planet of communication and your thinking, being expanded with Jupiter. in Aquarius. So there can be this big aha moment, a great communication. Like we have an intensive day on Wednesday, and it feels like there's a reward day on Thursday. Um, Also on Thursday, the sun's at 14 degrees, which makes to a 5, which is all about the head. So there's a focus on the mind and thinking and how you look at things. With Mercury conjunct Jupiter, Mars will be going into Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury, and then the sun's at 15, which is the 5, which is also ruled by Mercury. So Thursday could be a day where you feel caught up in your mind and like can't think things through, can't think your way out of a box. So the challenge will be to get out of your ego and out of your logical, rational thinking and listening to downloads and psychic intuition and letting that lead the way. And conversations, you could really, it feels like a day, like if someone's lying to you or they're trying to spin a tale or whatever, you can have a real clear sense of that is BS. Or again, you may be channeling words, writing information. Like it's a very active day. Again, there could be media headlines coming in, especially because the next day on Friday is when we have the sun squaring the nodes. So again, we've got this mercurial energy with the sun squaring the north node in Gemini. So again, there's all this focus on the mind and thinking and how you look at things, how you think about your own life. And that can be a karmic pattern as well. Like you can fall into the ruts in your mind about the way you think about life, the way you think about yourself. If you always think, well, I always do that. What kind of things are you telling yourself would be a good question to really ask yourself this whole week, and pay attention to your inner thoughts. Writing in a journal this week could be hugely revealing, just by writing down your thoughts every day and what your dreams as they come up. It's definitely going to be a test. This week can be a test. This is only a test, it's like, but if you pass the test, you get to have a big shift in feeling this, oh, pat yourself on the back. I did it. I'm going to shift this karmic pattern instead of like, oh, here's my karma. I'm just going to take another lap. That seems to be your either evolve this week and move into a new pattern, or you set yourself up to repeat and do a same old pattern. So can be a powerful week in shifting, changing karma. Karmic tests can happen any day this week, really, and anytime the sun's in Pisces, but this week in particular, with all this mercurial energy thinking, I feel like you have the opportunity to really change how you think about things and how you think about yourself, primarily how you think about the world around you. What are you telling yourself? I always fill in the blank. Whatever that is, that's probably your karmic pattern. It can be positive or negative. And if you're in a good karmic place, you're paying attention to karmic cues, you've been doing lots of positive things for yourself and for others, this can be a big reward week. You can have karmic blessings come in as well this week, is my sense of it as well. And set with all this communication stuff, be clear about setting boundaries in a kind and loving way. You can say no with love. It doesn't have to be, an F you kind of, I won't do that reaction. If you need to set boundaries, you need to clearly communicate, and you can just say things like, that's not going to work for me, or I'm not willing to do that, or just simply no thank you, or saying no with love. So that can be where you can draw a line, and that even could be a change in karma. Instead of erupting and reacting in negative ways, you can just clearly and calmly say, yeah, no. Right. And so the sun is bringing light to the subconscious this week. These are the notes I've written down. And pay attention to where your karmic weak spots are. This is a week for spiritual focus, and for releasing old karmic patterns. Again, love is a paramount energy this week. Loving yourself. Love breaks through karmic chains. And what would be a different, like if you know what your karmic pattern is, like I'm always picking up food or alcohol or drugs or too much work or relationships, like where do you look outside yourself instead of looking within yourself for help? And so this is an opportunity where you can really drop that urge to look outside yourself and find the answers within yourself. That can be a big, huge opportunity this week. So the moon is in Scorpio Wednesday and Thursday. Moon moves into Sag on Friday and Saturday. It's a time where, you know, when the moon's in fire signs, we can tend to be more social. That's a good timing for the social to be happening on the weekends. Also, the Sag energy can be where a spiritual story can change, where a karmic pattern can change. So this can really be like, I really feel like the roughest patch is like earlier in the week, and there can be this real turnaround and breakthrough and aha and revealing energy going on. And again, with the Scorpio energy, I wouldn't be surprised if there's like public broadcast secrets again with all this, or even into Thursday with the emphasis in the Gemini energy, media and messages getting out. But I think we're all feeling better by Saturday. The sun is at 16 degrees, which makes to a 7, which is a very spiritual. Resting's kind of like, and we can take a deep breath and breathe and realize that we passed our final exam. Hopefully you will pass your tests this week, but pay attention to it. Like, look for them, look for where you're being karmically tested, and make sure that you tell yourself, this, I have an opportunity to change, to do things in a different way, not the same same let's see. I'm just looking at my other notes that I put down here. Oh, I also put a note on Pluto being at 26 degrees. We may see the cracks starting to show up very clearly in the male patriarchal rule and in whatever things have been ruling your life in that old school kind of way, that like the cracks may start to be showing. And if you've been in a karmic pattern of feeling subjugated to this energy, you can very easily get a download about how to step aside and step out of the way so that this death and transformation is not affecting you in a negative way. Now, if you're at the head of one of these corporations or companies or government things and you're running the show and your ego wants to be in control, watch out, because you could have a spiritual fall and spiritual face plant this week or in the coming weeks. I really feel like that's a theme that's going to be coming up, is people that have been in power before, companies that have been in power, institutions, government people that have been in power are going to be finding themselves eating some crow in a lot of ways, especially if they've been karmically setting negative causes. It's going to be catching up with them. Yeah. And I really feel like our spiritual path is going to be shown to us this week. Like, this could be an opportunity to really start a new spiritual path, or to deepen the one you're on, start a new spiritual connection with your higher self, your guides, the loved ones on the other side. I feel like the veil, I'm hearing that the veil can be thin this week in communications of all kinds, including communications with beings and loved ones on the other side. Is there anything else I need to say about the planets? Nope, that's what I'm giving, that I need to highlight and focus on for this week. Take a swig of my sparkling water. Okay, since it is the middle of Pisces season, I'm going to start with the Pisces. I'm going to do a 3-card draw, but I'm really going to focus on this karma. Like, what kind of karma could you be having come up? What kind of karmic opportunity do you have to change? I'm going to kind of throw that in the middle, and then of each of the signs. And again, this is for sun signs, moon signs, rising signs in each sign, and stelliums, when you have 3 or more planets in a particular sign. If you don't know about your chart, you can always go to astro.com, astro.com. You can sign up for free and plug in your information about where and when you were born, birth date, time, and place, and you can get a lot of free information off of that site yourself that you can do yourself. Self-taught. I've been using astro.com for a long time. Okay. Pisces energy. What's the karmic enlightenment shift? What do you need to know? What's been going on? What's going to be coming for you guys this week? Alrighty. Okay. So for Pisces, the recent past karmic patterns about stress, letting yourself be, and this feels like it's connected to empathy and soaking up too much stuff from other people or getting too much in your head to try to figure things out instead of feeling things out. So this is the recent past, the karmic pattern of allowing yourself to get too stressed up. I think like anxiety disorders are in there too, just like, and I feel like there's a shutdown energy that goes along with that. You get too psychically stimulated, you pick up too much stuff from other people, and you just like shut down. You can't deal with it. So this is the bridge that's crossing right now with karma. This card actually shows up when there's been, very often when there's been sexual abuse or when there's no intimacy happening in relationships, or you're not in a relationship, so therefore there's no intimacy happening. But it usually is a block or stuck energy. So this could be karma as it shows up in relationships. And it feels like there may be a block in your current intimacy, Pisces, and this may be connected to an abuse energy from the past, whether it's this lifetime or past lives. This is a karma of feeling blocked or stuck when it comes to your intimacy, your sexuality. And so there's a healing and some insights that can happen this week, Pisces, when it comes to your sex life and intimacy and what's blocking you. The guidance card is here in the near future. So there is definitely some big time downloads coming for Pisces this week. Psychic intuition coming in through your own higher self, through your dreams, being mentioned with the people around you. I just feel like that there's the information's coming from all sides is what it feels like, that you're getting guided. And it's going to show up in multiple ways. Like if you have any question or any doubt, like I feel like you're up in your head a little bit too much, Pisces, and that if you can just be more calm and just listen to the gut feeling, listen to the intuition, that it's going to really guide you about what and how to deal with the stuff that's up and the blocks. I really feel like you need tools for dealing with regular anxieties that comes and hits you, tools to dig into this block in your intimacy, and that the guidance about what to do, who to turn to, how to do it is showing up in a very real, tangible way to where you cannot mistake it. It may show up in your dreams first, and then someone may be mentioning something in your conversation over the phone, or you may catch something on TV or YouTube or something where, oh my God, that's exactly what I was just thinking. So there's definitely intuition coming through, messages coming through, and confirmation so that you can be sure that the way that you're being guided is clearly guided. I'm sorry, I've got like an eyelash like in my eye or something making me blink. So, and so I would, since I'm talking about Pisces with that, when I'm having this, I'm also feeling like the left eye is what you receive. And so maybe it's disturbing what you're looking at in your environment. Eyes are kind of what you see around you. And if there's like, oh, I don't want to see, there's something blocking your vision. There's something, someone that you don't want to see that you're receiving the energy for. So you may really have to address, it may be a person that's bringing in some abusive energy in your life and that you need to see that clearly. All right. Backwards to the Aquarius. See what your karmic stuff is this week. Righty. All right, recent past for the Aquarian is the traveling card. So this is, it may be literally that you just took a trip or recently took a trip. It can be spiritual traveling, like you've been on a journey. You've been feeling like you're journeying. Um, it could also be like there's mountains here, like working your way up a mountain. Like it could be literally, or it could just be like a mountain of paperwork or a mountain of problems, or like, oh my God, it just seems like I have to keep going kind of feeling with the Aquarius. Like, oh, when is this? When am I going to get to the end of this? When can I get to the top and rest is what it feels like the Aquarius energy is saying right now. The sun is really showing up in this card. So it feels like sometimes you're not stopping just to stop and appreciate, or this is in the recent past, you haven't been stopping enough to stop and just appreciate your journey so far. Like, look at how far you've come instead of how far you still need to go. And I'm still getting this I thing. So this may be something that also the Aquarian needs to look at. Like, what are you focusing on? How are you looking at things? This is the bridge you're crossing, the innocence card. This is about getting wisdom, insight, maybe seeking out an elder for you may have talked to a parent or a guide or someone that you respect. There's karma with this too. So I feel like there's been, sometimes you turn your power over to what you've been told, and that you're taking that back. You're like pulling that back and putting it on your own plate. There also may be an ego thing involved where like you've like, oh no, I'm good. I've got everything taken care of. I know it. And you may be delusion. There may be some delusion when it comes to that. Like you may need to put yourself in a place of being teachable instead of I know it all. Aquarius, I know you know it all, but maybe you don't. Near future, the inner voice card. So this would be, yes, downloading from a higher source. This is like downloading from the third eye into the third eye and through the crown chakra. This is also thinking about someone may, it's the inner voice card turn up. So this is one of the psychic intuition cards. It's about psychic signals being loud and clear. You might get a message from a loved one, just psychically. It may just come through. You may be feeling them. You may be dreaming about them. But there's definitely some sort of like juxtaposition of information or insight. You see something that is put you into your feeling body, because it feels like you've been kind of in your head and into your ego, and that's the karmic pattern. And the shift in karma for you this week is to put your ego down and subjugate it to your higher self and your intuition, and letting that be the guide. And there's definitely a big aha, a big reveal, information becoming clear, connection with a loved one, feeling like you're not alone, that you do have beautiful support system around you, having a really beautiful vibey energy, and like being able to stop and really enjoy the moment. All righty, Capricorns. See what your karmic story is this week. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to my channel. And if you haven't already, I'd love for you to subscribe to my channel, like it, make comments. If you're seeing this on Facebook, do the same thing there. Share it with your friends, family. I mean, after all, I'm giving out free readings. Wouldn't you want to share that? All right, Capricorns. All right, recent past is one of my psychic cards, the turning in card. So this is getting psychic downloads, like feeling intuition, feeling drawn to someone. Also kind of wanting to tune out. I'm seeing this, these other sort of voices as like having to block out the signals, whether that's, media stuff or loved ones that, what you've been told, like it's like blocking out, you've been blocking out information, negative information. Definitely some toxic information. So it feels like you've been doing a good job of putting up a protective shield. even though it feels like, oh, do I have to keep doing this? Why? Like, it feels frustrating, but I feel like you've been able to find a way to center yourself. Capricorns, you're definitely on a new spiritual quest right now. The aloneness card is representing you right now. So this is about the spiritual search. This card depicts someone, it's the hermit in a traditional tarot card. So this is about really needing to have the download, the direction, to have some space to get by yourself and really see things clearly. And so maybe all these other people have made it difficult. Maybe the karmic pattern is that you don't give yourself enough alone time. You're with people a lot and you're needing more space to yourself. That's what it feels like. The karmic pattern is to say no more, to step away from the situations, the toxic people, the people that keep nagging at you, and just really find out what your own inner voice is guiding you to be doing instead of getting the information from other people. And the near future is the possibilities card, which is, it feels like great insight. The eagle here has a great perspective. The sun is activated here in a beautiful way. It's like being out in nature and just being able to take a deep breath and just look at the beauty that's around you. It feels like there's something wonderful coming in for you, Capricorns. Great insight at the very least, perspective, gratitude, riches. There's some sort of like treasure or something that feels like it's coming up for Capricorns this week. It's like, oh my God, I've been working so hard. And yes, someone notices, or like, you may find something that you've lost. You may discover that you have the treasure already with you, kind of a thing. It's kind of like there's a Buddhist parable about a jewel that was sewn into a robe. This wealthy man came across this poor man, and when he was asleep, he sewed a beautiful, valuable jewel in his robe, and he didn't know it, that he carried this beautiful, valuable jewel with him, and that he was looking everywhere for help, and he didn't realize he'd already been given it. So there's some sort of message like that I'm feeling with the Capricorn energy, of that there's a beautiful gift that you realize that you already possess, and that you can bring that out and move that forward in some form or fashion, if that makes any sense at all. All right, Sagittarius. Hey, Sagittarius, you've already been going through some transformation here. Transformation card is in the recent past. You may already been having some vivid dreams, and you've already been working hard to change some things. The Phoenix rising here is also going on in this picture. So you've already been having a death and rebirth. Like, you've already been working hard. You've already had some shift in perspective. You've already had some realizations around what your karmic patterns are. I don't feel like this is a surprise at all. There is this card now, the dream card, which is the hope for something that you do not currently have. There's the desire for a relationship, the desire to have if you're already in a relationship, then you're not experiencing this vision that you have for it. You may be alone and wanting a relationship as well. There's the dream here is also the desire to manifest, and it doesn't have to necessarily be relationship. It can represent a dream that you haven't fulfilled yet. But so you've been working hard on yourself, and now there's still something else that you feel stuck in. So the karmic pattern may feel like, I'm always stuck, I never get what I want, or something. So pay attention to what you're telling yourself, Sagittarius, because you're manifesting this, you're repeating something because you're generating it internally. Near future is the success card. So there is a breakthrough, a yeehaw. Woo, I finally did it. A big, huge shift coming this week for you. It's like a reward for doing your diligent work. And all you have to do is what you feel guided to do today. That's all you have to do. You don't have to figure out the big plan or how you're going to get from point A to point Z. You just get from point A to point B today. And then the next day, point B to point C. You just take that next right step and next right action. And that there is a big reward for the Sagittarius this week. A celebration, something you can feel happy about, moving. It feels like you do pass your karmic test this week, Sagittarius. So you don't repeat the same karma. If you're watching this video, Sagittarius that aren't watching this video, maybe you repeat your karmic patterns. I don't know. All right. And then we'll go to the Scorpios. Let's see what your karmic story is this week. Keeping secrets. All right. Recent past is the abundance card. So it's like having some good things come in, flowing in recently, Scorpio, that you've been enjoying more freedom or appreciation. Maybe you've been in more of a gratitude place. You've been able to look and see. You have stopped to calibrate. You have stopped to take in, look how far I've come. You have been rewarded. There has been this sense of transformation, but also can be kind of where you've just stopped and you're like, yeah, I don't feel like working really too hard about it right now. The politics card is showing up right now, Scorpio. So a politician is someone who shows you two different faces, neither one of which are who they really are. So I don't know if this is showing up. It could be showing up in your relationships when you're not wanting to be truthful or really be honest with someone. You may be, the worst thing is being dishonest with yourself. You're free to tell people or not tell people what you want, but this is like feeling like you have to put on a face. It could be literally acting, that maybe you're doing some drama or you're doing something where you're acting out a role that's not you, which could be great if you're getting paid for it. If you're a Scorpio that's an actor. Otherwise, it feels like you're putting on a pretense. You're not being genuine or true to yourself, and that's not going to sit well if that's what the case is. Near future, there's a couple of like running into some obstacles. Here's that dream card, that sense of not having what you want, and then being really emotionally distressed around it. So this feels like this is definitely a relationship karmic pattern, Scorpios, that your karma is showing up in terms of your relationships with others this week. The going with the flow card is kind of like if you can disengage and not get nutted up or take it in, like I'm feeling a very empathic energy where you take in toxic energy or you take on a negative pattern that you're repeating and then feel horrible about yourself because of it, like I never get what I want, or I always am alone, or whatever the negative thing that you're repeating and your karmic pattern is. If you could just refrain from generating that negativity and just go, this too shall pass. This is not how things are going to last. It's going to shift. I'm going to be okay. There's a need to unhook yourself from an internal pattern, is what I'm feeling with the Scorpios. All right, and the Libras. It's just cutting with the Lover's card, which showed itself to me as I was shuffling here. So there's definitely some shifting going on with relationships with the Libras this week. Of course, the Libras are the most relationship-oriented of all the signs, doing things for others often before they do it from themselves. All right, the guilt card is showing up. So this can be literally you've done something that you feel guilty about. It also cannot be about guilt. It can just be up in your head and just like chewing on things. And I don't know how to figure this out and wanting to scream about a situation that's presented itself. So a karmic situation that's making you want to scream or making you feel bad about what already happened. The politics card is showing up as, it's weird, I thought I saw something dash across the floor just now. The politics card is showing up again. All right. So this is showing two different faces, neither one of which they really are. It may be a situation where you don't feel safe to be yourself and therefore are putting up a protective device. It also can be disgusted at what you're seeing in politics, literally politics. It can be feeling like, it's also, I see this like snake-like thing, could also be colon or intestinal stuff. Like the Libra, you may have been having some like intestinal bug or virus or something in your intestinal tract that's making you feel bad. It can be like literally a health thing, Libras. The good news is the inner voice card is showing up this week. There's definitely clear insight, direction, connection with someone that you really vibe with, a confirmation that you're in the right place through dreams, psychic feedback, information from other people coming in. So I feel like, in fact, it's whatever you may be feeling guilty about or a karmic pattern that you're stuck in. It feels like you've been treating yourself bad. Um, and that it may be literally showing up as like upset stomach or upset stuff in the intestinal tract because it feels like you're holding toxic energy in. So the more that you can get in a peaceful place, release toxicity, drink more water, I'm getting, and know that this too will pass and that there's great insights coming this week. Confirmation, clarification, relationship. There could be a new person showing up. It could be someone from the past that reaches out. There's a lot of communication with loved ones or partners or the energy of people who want to be your partner or yeah, there's just like there's a big shift, Libras, like from where you're feeling, what you've been feeling the last few days and where you're feeling today and what you're going to be feeling by the end of the week. A big shift and feeling more peaceful and serene and guided by the end of the week. Virgos. Clear up the energy in the cards a little here. Some toxic energy. Don't want to leave it in the cards. All right. All right, Virgos, recent past is the guidance card. So this is like having information coming through others, through your own higher self, through dreams, where you have already been feeling like you're being guided. The Rebel card is actually taking action and breaking through limitations and going after, like taking action based on guidance is what it feels like. Like you're actually setting the cause to break through some resistance maybe you've been having, maybe you haven't been taking action, and this week right now you are doing that. You're breaking through, like, I'm going to do this. I'm clearly guided, so I'm just going to trust myself and go for it. And then the patience card is showing up, which is that it may take a while for whatever you're doing to come to fruition. The actions that you take this week, you may be a timer before you get the benefit that comes back around, but you can trust that if you're feeling guided and you take the action that you're feeling guided to do, that in a matter of time, the results will come back through. There's also a Virgo that's going to find out they're pregnant this week, or someone that they love is pregnant. There's the pregnancy card with the patience card here. This woman is pregnant, so if there's a Virgo or moon or rising stellium in Virgo that's wanting to have a baby, there may be some action taken for that conception to happen this week. It also could be symbolically that you're creating a new project that's like a baby and you're starting something new, and it'll take a while for it to come to fruition. All right, Leos. What kind of karmic stuff are y'all up against this week? All right, the rebel is coming up for you. Recent past, taking action, breaking through chains that have limited, like it feels like you've finally gotten emotion, you've taken action towards something where you hadn't before. You may be the authority or people are coming to you. Also, this card is saying the same thing, like people may be seeking you out for your guidance. You may seek you out for wisdom. You may be seeking out elders yourself for some wisdom or insight, or turning to someone that you consider as a master or a teacher or a guide. It feels like there is humility happening with this energy, like you are teachable, you're ready for some insight, you're ready to do something differently. And in the near future is the participation card. This is working with others, like you're maybe you're teaching a group or you're working with others in community, and you're all working to, everybody's important, you're all working together. So the karmic pattern is shifting this energy of, I feel like you've been stuck in some form or fashion in your life, and it may be internal stuff that you've just recently broken through, and you've learned a lot from what's just gone down, and you want to like tell your friends or teach others or help other people break through their stuff. It's like you're carrying the message. So you're using a negative thing that's happened in your life and turning it around. I'm hearing the Buddhist phrase, turning poison to medicine, this week, Leo. You're really you're just, and also it feels like you're feeling loved and supported and that people appreciate you. Alrighty, the Cancers. All right. Cancers. Recent past is the traveling card. So you have been through it, been on a journey. You may literally have been traveling, or this may be a spiritual or psychological journey that you've been on. You've been thinking about someone that's far away. That could be what's been going on, or you may be separated from someone. Again, it feels like there's an uphill struggle that you've been going on, and you're alone right now. The aloneness card is coming as right now, and you just feel spiritually like, why am I always alone? There's some sort of karmic feeling of like, I'm tired of being alone. But it's an opportunity to really grow spiritually if you look at it that way, and to get insight and wisdom. The innocence card is like finding wisdom, finding the reason why, like being able to be happy exactly where you are. So the karmic shift, it feels like it's going on for Cancers this week, is to really be able to take in the fact that you have come a long way. You have done a big growth journey. You've accomplished something you've been wanting to accomplish. You're feeling good about yourself. There's spiritual relief. There's like wisdom. You're starting to see things more clearly, instead of like, it feels like you've been going through like a heavy emotional battle, and that you're not having to battle anymore. You may be alone, but at least it's calm and peaceful. And I feel like there's more to come with the Cancer. This is just this week's story. So it's like rest and reprieve is what feels like is going on for the Cancer this week. It's like, this is a time where you can just stop, take a deep breath, realize that you're being held by the universe and you've learned a lot, and the battle is behind you, is what it feels like. At least for right now, this week, you don't have to do any battling. Cancers. All right, Geminis. All righty, Gemini, definitely a spiritual week for you guys. This is the recent past. This is about finding your place in the universe, realizing that you're just a small little piece of the big, huge puzzle, doing meditation, getting into astrology or astronomy, studying the stars. You know, this is what's been going on in the recent past. But it feels like you've been calmer than usual, which you can easily be up in your head, Geminis, but it feels like you've been training yourself to be more in the spiritual body. This card is throwing yourself completely into something. Like, you're going to take a big risk. You're going to take a leap of faith. You're going to do the big jump and trust that the universe is there to catch you. So the totality card is representing you right now. And then the aloneness card is showing up for you in the near future. So there's a lot of this energy going on for a lot of the signs this week, which is the spiritual search, like diving in deeper spiritually. You've already been doing some of this, Gemini. So it feels like there's even diving in even deeper. It feels like you're really developing your connection with the divine, and you're figuring out how to turn your brain off and get more in spirit, which is bringing you relief. So it's like you're changing a karmic pattern of being up in your head and still immersing and dropping deeper into spirit, so that you're feeling guided and a part of the, instead of like the ego's in control, you're really getting a spiritual message this week, and just really seeing that you're carried by spirit. And it shows up in the people around you too. But it's like, even the people that are coming into your life, Geminis, feel like they're bringing us, they have a spiritual light within, and that is what you're more interested in connecting with, is the people that have this, the light within, not the darkness around them. Okay. Taurus. See what's going on with the Taurus energy. All right. Recent past is the mind card, which is like being frustrated, caught up, like you're rethinking something that's bringing, like you've been trying to figure some things out mentally, and you may have just been frying your brain here. Like, I don't know, I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out. So one of the things that you're shifting this week is this I can't, or this block, or feeling like you're helpless and they're just spinning energy. What's happening with the Taurus energy now is like, you're seeing the breakthrough, you're seeing the light. It's like the pathway is being shown to you this week. You're able to really shift something out of your head into forward motion. You're taking action. It's feeling like so much more of a relief. By the end of the week, there's just like this peaceful, easy feeling, and you're experiencing just peace and rest, and you're able to really stop and take in what's going on and feel really grateful. There's a deep feeling of gratitude this week, of like moving away from a place of mental uncertainty and mental like frustration, and realizing that you're being led into the answers and that you're being protected by spirit too. So a lot of spiritual lessons this week for a lot of the signs is what I'm seeing. There's definitely, with this Pisces energy, is showing up in the cards too, that the lessons are often very much spiritual. All right, and last but not least is the Aries. And by the way, I use the Osho Zen Tarot deck, Oshozen, if you're interested in what deck I use. All right, recent past is the totality card, which is like when you go in full tilt boogie. And if you don't, I mean, you can either, it's all or nothing is what it feels like. It's been going down in the recent past, Aries. So it's like you're either doing something full on, and I also get the feeling that, or you're not doing it at all. The isolation card is going on right now. So this is like old karmic sadness, old grief, old feelings of being left alone, abandoned. This is like the karma that's coming up for you, Aries, is like feeling like things will never work out. You're sad, you're depressed, you get stuck in your own self, is what it feels like is going on here, Aries. The karmic pattern of self-sabotage in particular feels like it's coming up this week. And I feel like it's when you are not taking action, the energy backs up, and it's a spiritual dilemma is what it's feeling like. The Buddha card, the consciousness card, is coming up as your final card, which is all about recognizing that you have a Buddha nature within, a Christ self, a spiritual wisdom within you that can always lead the way through any situation. Instead of being stuck in the negative feelings, your karma this week is to recognize, oh, this is where I start getting depressed. Oh, this is where I get stuck and not taking action. This is when I feel sorry for myself. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to stop. I'm going to trust that I can just turn things over to my higher self, and I'll know the next right thing to do. So again, another spiritual resolution. So definitely, it seems like all the signs are being taught spiritual lessons in a big way this week, and how to get over yourselves, basically, by diving into spirit, knowing that you're not alone in the universe. You're part of this bigger matrix, this essence that permeates the entire universe, right? So there's lots of great spiritual apps that you can plug in to do meditation and feel like you're joining others in doing that. I feel like there's a lot of that aloneness card, and isolation was coming up in a lot of readings. So there's a lot of people that may just feel spiritually alone because maybe you can't go to a church, or you can't get out of, you've been spending too much time alone. Like, we've all been in this lockdown mode now for almost a year, right? Coming up on a year that we've been underneath the coronavirus lockdown. And then we've had recent weather lockdowns in a lot of places too. So there's, I feel like there's a fatigue just setting in for people that they're just tired of this. But if you're utilizing this as like the perfect time to be baking a new spiritual pie, a new thing that's going to come out of the oven when all this is done, it can be just an amazing time to grow spiritually, to grow psychically, to learn spiritual and psychic lessons, to pick up a spiritual text of some sort and dive in. Um, and, you know, listen to that intuition in terms of what that is, but stopping the mind. Again, the mind with all the emphasis on all the um, mercurial energy this week, it's going to be real easy to just like get up on your head and blah, 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 all kinds of thoughts and ideas. It's really important to tap into spirit and to quiet the mind, turn the volume down on the logical, rational mind, and turn up the volume on the spiritual self, the intuition, the pulse of the universe as it shows up inside of you. All right. I believe that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for your long attention if you're still with me. And I really appreciate those of you that watch these videos every week. I can feel you. I've been getting feedback from a lot of you that you really look forward to these videos and you really appreciate them. So back at you. I appreciate you greatly. If you'd like to schedule a private session with me, you can do so through my website, psychedupmovement.com. I'll put that below the video. You can send me an email at bringoutthebuddha@gmail.com. I'll put that below. I do psychic readings, doing this kind of channeling with astrology and tarot individually. I do a much larger reading when I do tarot readings, many more cards, many more issues and thorough that we look at for private sessions. But I usually start with the astrology chart and look at your birth chart and then look at how the transits are affecting you personally, and then move to a general reading with the tarot and see what's going on generally in your life. And then any specific questions that you have, we can look at those. If you can ask a question, if you can put things into words and verbalize it, we can do a reading over it. I also do past life regressions, is where I guide you back to look at your past lives. I do rebirthing sessions, which is a process of coached breath work to clear out the stuff that may be stored in your body or in your auric field. I do psychic development instruction. If you want to work on developing your own abilities, then we can work with that. I can help you tune into how they're already showing up for you and how you can enhance them and develop them. I send you home with homework assignments with that. I also do house and office clearings where I bring my bag of tricks into your environment and work to clear out the energy in your home or office. So those are the major services that I offer. The prices are all listed on my website. I offer a sliding scale fee for those of you that need it. All you have to do is ask me. Yeah, I think that's all I have for you. All right, everybody. Have a transformative karma breaking through week. Peace.